Hello, 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 everyone. It is your girl, Sean Venable, and I am so excited about today's episode of Legacy Builders. We have here with us today the coach, my coach, Glenn P. Brooks Jr. He is a coach, a business coach. He is an author, he is a speaker, and he is here to share pearls of wisdom with us today. So, Coach Glenn, welcome to Legacy Builders. I'm so excited for you to be here.
Well, guys, listen, I am super excited to be hanging out with you guys. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. I appreciate you for being here. Now, Coach Glenn, typically we start off with questions and we ask individuals who they are, what they do, and how they add value. And you have really helped me to refine the way that I introduce myself. And so I'm going to ask you to go through an awesome formula that you shared with me around clarity questions as you're introducing yourself. Can you share with us those clarity questions by way of introduction?
Yeah, no doubt. So, again, first of all, I'm excited to be here. The four clarity questions that you're talking about is a framework that we created for the people that I get to coach in the MAPS Masterclass Business Builder Academy. And it's a cohort of entrepreneurs, business owners, and ministry leaders who really are stuck. They're unclear on what their next should look like. A lot of these people are either new to entrepreneurship, meaning they just flat out just got started, or they are new to a new area of entrepreneurship. We work with 9 to 5ers, people who are on their day jobs, and quite frankly, they are seeing themselves outside of that sphere more than they are seeing themselves in it. They just don't know how to build the bridge to get there. And that's what we help people do. The four clarity questions: who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? And who do you do it for? Sounds a little something like this. My name's Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. I get the opportunity to work in the space with new entrepreneurs, business owners, and ministry leaders who are trying to get clarity so that they can reach their highest potential as they generate revenue doing it. And that's in essence to do it. The reason why I do this, guys, is because there was someone that did that for me. When I started out in this space 6 years ago, I needed somebody who was already where I wanted to be and someone who could help bring me to where they were, as opposed to talking to me about theory. It was my very first business. And so I needed somebody who knew how to build business and had done that and was winning, quite frankly, so that I could go and literally rip a page out of a book or take the blueprint and go execute it. And I think that whenever you get into a room or a space with people like that, you grow exponentially. And that's kind of the four clarity questions in a nutshell.
Man, Coach Glenn, that was quite the introductions. Thank you so much for going through the four clarity questions. Very clearly articulating who you are, what you do, why you do it, and who you do it for. Now, I'm sure many people are interested. What type of clients do you work with? Who do you help along this coaching journey?
Yeah, like so as far as entrepreneurs go, I've worked with people who, who've started out for the first time and they've just started their business. Maybe it's a service-based business. They may be a coach. They may be some kind of speaker. Maybe they're an author, kind of like me, and they're trying to monetize that. All the way up to people who, quite frankly, who've been in business running a brick and mortar for 10 plus 12, 15 years. I've got one person I'm coaching right now. It's coming up on her 20th year, and she's doing business in the brick and mortar setting. So these people range in terms of industries. If I had three pillars, when I talk about people who I work with, generally they are either A, bootstrapping their business or their ministry. They are in a mindset where they don't have private funding, they don't have investors, they don't have seed money, they don't have people who are underwriting this. They are figuring this out on their own. And a lot of times their 9 to 5 is their silent investor, and it's actually fueling their business. My goal is to help get that business profitable, up and running, so it stands on legs of its own. And the way we do that, particularly while you're in your 9 to 5, is help them to build systems around how they show up. We push people to really think differently, to take advantage of free, teach them how to
Yes.
monetize that, and be able to generate revenue off of something that costs them little or nothing, if that makes sense.
Man, you are talking my language right there, moving from vision to full execution. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I'm sure many people have this question as they are going along their personal journey, whether they are professional, whether they are an entrepreneur, business owner, whether they are a leader. How do you identify the right coach for you? I would love to hear from you, your personal experience of maybe how you interact with clients to see if there is the chemistry there to work together, or maybe how you've identified a personal coach for you in your journey.
I think that for me, one of the biggest things that leads me on building any kind of relationship, whether that's a coaching relationship, a friendship, you name it, is where do our values align? People often think and they say that they value things, but I often have to remind people values, what you value is what you do. It's not what you say. And so, first of all, I have to get around this person enough. And sometimes it's a discovery call with them. Sometimes, for me, I was able to see my coach do what he does from afar.
Yeah.
Watched him a lot on social media, looked at who he was connected to, looked at the results he was getting. And when I found him, I actually was looking for his coach.
Oh,
So
wow.
his coach is really famous, like really, really famous. And in him being really famous, I thought to myself, this guy is moving in a realm where I want to move. Because when I first started out, I really wanted to just speak full time. I'm a former pastor. I know what it's like to be in the trenches. I know what it's like to be in the pulpit, whether it's with youth, young adults, whether it's adults. I've done them all. And I've been doing that since I was 22 years old. And so I wanted to speak. I knew that was my primary gifting. But for me, I needed a person who was a speaker, but somehow they were able to monetize that business of speaking. And as I did my research and I found this guy, if I mention his name, everybody would know him.
Mhm.
And I've had the opportunity to be mentored by a lot of pretty notable, incredible people. But when I saw this guy moving, I said to myself, ooh, that's kind of what I do. And it's not exactly, but when I went researching him, I realized he was a speaker. He was not a coach.
Mm.
And those were two different things. And so I knew I needed somebody that almost was a hybrid a little bit. And so as I was investigating, doing all my research, I realized that one of the teammates on this really, really famous person's team was the coach for his organization and was coaching my coach. And
Wow.
that's how I got connected to my coach, which really drew me in and showed me the game on what it looks like to add value, give more than you take, teach people how to build systems around how they move. As a result, since then, I've become a certified disc trainer. That's another way that I use a tool to find out if we're a fit. I don't guess what your temperament or your personality is. I make you take a test. And so if that's somebody that I'm sitting down coaching, because they're paying me, or quite frankly, if that's somebody I'm trying to build a relationship with, I'm going to slip them that and say, hey, do me a favor, take you 10, 12 minutes. I'm just trying to get an idea of what your temperament is, and it helps me to navigate the waters.
Yeah, I remember the DISC assessment. When I first came into your program, I took the DISC assessment and it was eye-opening, right? A lot of things were confirmed for me that I knew, but it actually opened up a few blind spots, things that I didn't know about myself. What I would say is most importantly, it helped it lay a strong foundation for how we would interact together, help to identify strengths and how to leverage those strengths. And then the things that I needed to work on, yeah, it helped me to identify that as well. Coach Glenn, before I go any further, I really want to share my personal experience of how I met you. I met you on Clubhouse, and right away I knew that you were someone that I wanted to rock with because there was a level of authenticity that you walked in as a leader and that I really, really appreciated. And as we began our coaching journey and I joined the MMC community, what I realized is that it was a tribe, it was a vibe, it was an opportunity to collaborate with like-minded individuals, and also individuals, quite frankly, that may not necessarily think the way you do, but they have strength. I love the community. You don't pretend to know what you don't know. What you do know, you know it very well, but you're well connected in the industry as well. And you share those resources. So this is, one of the best coaching programs that I've experienced. And I really, really do mean that, from the authenticity to the community, the tribe, the additional resources. It is phenomenal. And I do want to say thank you.
No, my pleasure. I'm heartwarming to hear other people say that. We're trying. We really
Yeah.
are trying to show up in a way that authenticity trumps everything. I tell people a lot, Sean. I used to be the guy that would put on airs that he had this when he didn't have it, or he had this thing kind of cranked up and he knew what he was talking about, but he really didn't. And what I come to the conclusion of, it didn't serve me well.
Yeah.
And when I say it didn't serve me well, I realized that it's something that's, why am I going through all these hoops and I'm not really that guy? Why don't I take that energy and become that guy?
Mm.
Actually become the guy I'm trying to fake like I am, so that when I show up, the authenticity of that guy stepping in the room, that's what changes people's lives. That's what changes people's perspectives. Because, the receipts don't lie. You either did it or
I
you didn't. And when they
don't.
find out that you did, they're going to rock with you. And if you didn't, they going to not rock with you. And then they're going to tell a lot of people, you ain't telling the truth. Like it's a whole big thing.
Authenticity and credibility, it is key. Now, I'm curious, I'm sure many people are curious. What would you have done differently knowing what you know now? Really curious to hear.
I, I, I wish I would have known how much limiting beliefs played a part into my growth.
Mm.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that the people that I was hanging around, mindset wise, weren't the people that was going to get me to where I needed to be. And so I hung around too long. I grew up pleasing people in order to feel good about myself. I always cared way too much about what people thought, what they thought of me, what they thought of me thinking of them. Like, it was a whole problem.
Yeah.
And as a child, you look like a person with a lot of friends like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as an adult, what happens is you recognize that is really, really shallow, because you're not your authentic self. And if I had one thing that I wish I would have done differently, it would have been to really figure out how to do the work on getting past my limiting beliefs on that I got to do it this way because that's the way they're doing it. And it only can work that way because it's the only way I've seen. Those limiting beliefs really cripple people. And I am always learning. I'm constantly learning and challenging my mindset, what it is I say, what it is that I believe, and is it real, and is it authentic, and does it hold weight? And so that's probably the biggest area for me.
Man, that is so true. And you have freed some people today. Nobody can beat you being you. All right, Coach Glenn, we're getting ready to come to an end, but I'm so excited about some things that you have coming up. One of which in October, my husband and I will be there rocking with the MMC community. So I would love for you to tell people, how can they get in touch with you and what do you have coming up?
So, as people are listening to this, we are doing a number of things. The event that you're talking about in October, October 1st and 2nd, is what we're calling bootstrapping your way to success. I've been in business for 6 years, and as an author, we are working, my wife and I, on our eighth and ninth book. Since 2011, we've sold more than 50,000 books, and we don't have a major publisher. And we've done that strictly through bootstrapping, leveraging our relationships and figuring out how to get in front of our target clients. What are we going to be doing that day, the 1st and 2nd of October, at that Bootstrapping Your Way to Success event, is teaching people how to take an idea that's in your head and bring it to the marketplace, execute it very quickly. I can't guarantee you the kind of results I'm getting, but here's what I can guarantee you. If you come, if you do what I say do, you will experience exponential growth because of the execution. It's something about when you get together in person. We're going to be in Prince George's County, Maryland. It's just outside of DC, not far from Reagan National. And we're going to have an exciting time. We're going to do it at a client's of mine, his church. He's opening up his church. And it's funny because the next day they will be opening up their church for the first time to all of their people with the whole COVID situation going down. So, all the protocols are being taken place. As much as that place seats probably 500-600 people, we're only putting 100 people in the seats live. And then we're also doing it as a hybrid. So if you can't get to the area, there's a link. Just go to my website. It's kind of above my shoulder, glennpbrooksjr.com. It's my name. It's super easy. And go there. And I promise you can find out more information about that, as well as the MMC, which is what you're a part of, Sean. And the MMC is a business builder academy. It's where we take entrepreneurs through a very intense academy of learning over a short amount of time The first 3 months is really pouring into you what it is that you need to know. The second 3 months is all about execution. This is where I get to take entrepreneurs and help them actually execute on their dreams, their visions, and see it come to fruition. Because we're going to take you through all of the branding and how to leverage social media and how to monetize free and all of those kinds of, it's a long extended version of what we're going to do October 1st and 2nd. And quite frankly, there's a community there that's greater than me. I always tell people, yeah, I think I'm a kind of dope coach, a pretty good dope coach, but my community is freaking amazing. And I promise you that it's not me, it's the people I know and who they're connected to that helps this whole thing move. And I certainly would love if anybody wants to come and take a look, give us a follow, see, whether that's on social media or, come to the website and see if we're a fit for you.
All right, guys, you heard it from the man himself, Coach Glenn P. Brooks Jr. If you want to get in contact, want to learn more about what he is doing, visit his website, follow him on social media, jump into the clubhouse room that he has. You won't be disappointed. And at least sign up for a discovery call to see if it's the right fit for you. Coach Glenn, thank you so much again. I can't thank you enough for sharing a few minutes with us, sharing pearls of wisdom that will help individuals elevate and level up to their next. I really, really appreciate you.
Absolutely, guys. Appreciate it. You can't get to any place of significance by yourself, guys, because we all need some help. Thanks so much for having me.